Well then, this is my first video. I like it. So, I'm Aaron Klein, if you couldn't read the title. Yeah, darn it. This doesn't work quite as well as I'd like it to, but I'm just using a phone camera. I figured I would just start throwing out an opinion and complaining about the world. Sounds fun, right? People love complaining. Anyways, just that way we have some references for why my opinion even matters. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Biology from Purdue University through IUPUI, and while doing that, I spent my summer doing a research paper, literally on histone tail acetylation, and then I did a semester of research under Dr. Balakrishna. She's one of the leading researchers on DNA integrity proteins. I can get into that into later videos when I want to talk science coolness. Let's see. I live in Indiana, so just for reference, Indiana probably has the loosest law enforcement, unless you're in the areas surrounding Indianapolis. I don't live in the area surrounding Indianapolis, however, I went to school there, obviously. And also, in case you are wondering, we are known for having a massive drug issue, especially right now. I'm kind of in between places where I'm living, but I used to live in Columbus, and I'm living up in Marion. I bet Marion still has some drug issues, but like, I've lived in these lower parts, I've met these people, so I have a reason to have the political leanings I do. I guess you could call me a Republican, but it's kind of loose. I'd rather you call me an independent, because I have some very liberal ideas and some very conservative ideas. For example, while I most definitely consider abortion to be murder, I think drug addicts aren't going to get better if we just throw them in jails and lock them up. So that's for other videos. Today I just wanted to talk about something that really is, you can't walk in too late to the conversation, as long as your opinion comes with facts. This is where living in Indiana makes me have a very valuable opinion. Indiana is known for a lot of corn and soybeans. If you want plastics, you have to buy soybean oil from Indiana a lot of the times. That's one big way to make plastics easily. Anyways, I grew up learning how the supply chain worked. I learned from start to finish, animals, crops. I lived down the road from multiple farmers, till the time I was like 12, so I know the ins and outs. My bus drivers were all farmers, so I know how food gets from them to the grocery store. I was around back when milk was like $4 a gallon, and that was insane, especially considering milk. I could literally go down to a farmer and I could probably buy milk for cheaper there. But beside the point, these lockdowns have a lot of bad consequences, and this is clearly off center. This is my first video. I'll get better at this as we go, but this is all unscripted anyways, so that's a plus side. If you think that lockdowns are effective for fighting COVID, you really need to watch this video, because right now the only thing lockdowns are doing are crippling the economy, preventing anyone from growing in this economy, and by doing so also transferring the wealth from us up to corporations. Also, in case you're wondering, with my degree, I was intending to go work for Eli Lilly until I realized, this was after I just started with when lockdowns. I realized all these pharmaceuticals, like, they're just as corrupt as all the other government entities. Oh, darn, I can't hold it that way. It's getting tired holding it in my right arm. I'll just show you my right arm. Yeah, I am disabled. So, like, I need my degree to do stuff in this world. I can't go work at a factory and make 15 or 16 an hour. Anyways, the lockdowns are not helping with COVID. I'll just be straightforward. I've looked at the research. I understand how, like, I took a class in microbiology and we covered viruses, and I have a very good understanding of how viruses work because of my research. I spent a lot of time focusing on cellular biology and biochemistry. So I understand how these viruses function. I understand retroviruses. We're doing a lot more harm by locking people down in their houses. The reason why our death numbers are dropping and hospitalization numbers are dropping, it's not because of the lockdowns. Let's just be clear. This is happening all over the world, including places that didn't lock down. And in spite of that, I'm going to try to hold this again in a different way. Come on, there we go. This will help a bit. In spite of the lockdowns, we are having our numbers drop. So let me explain why the lockdowns suck. So first of all, we are all being kept in these little houses with a lot of surfaces. And unless you're cleaning them every single day, and no one is going out, period, and you're not interacting with anyone, which means you can't get any food or toilet paper, like you'd have to use alternative services. There's absolutely no way to prevent just people walking in and just leaving viruses around the house. Yes, they only last 10 minutes on your hands, but like if you're going out to Walmart and it's less than 10-minute drive, you come back, you can easily spread it. There's not a really good point. You'd actually really rather have people outside where the air is. And realistically, the best way to prevent viruses and colds and stuff like that from spreading, you don't really need to care about them spreading. What you really need to care about is protecting those who are vulnerable and getting as many people out of that vulnerable state as possible. COVID literally has been spreading like the flu, and it's going to continue. These vaccines are not going to be enough, period. We are not going to hit herd immunity. It's going to pass through every single year. That's just going to happen. On the flip side, the best way to handle viruses like this is to jump up your immune system with vitamin B, vitamin C, zinc, magnesium. Take your supplements. That's the way to handle this. I personally, once the virus started, I started taking supplements because I knew there was no way on earth this guy that was sitting in his mother's basement was going to have enough nutrients to survive a virus easily. Not to mention I have other health issues because I'm overweight. I have high blood pressure. So that's two knocks against me. But I would still rather start taking vitamin supplements and start getting healthy. That's what I've been doing, and it's helping me out greatly. I can walk miles now. Before, when the virus started, I could barely make it half a mile. So let's just, those are the ways you really want to handle the virus, and lockdowns is not helping. The major ramifications are our society, while it was already brittle, is collapsing, seriously, and it's because of the economic downfalls. We lived in a capitalistic society. I have other issues with capitalistic societies, but it's not, the answer isn't socialism. I'll give the answer in the next video because that's really the next point I was wanting to talk about. But when you live in a capitalistic society and people think they have the opportunity to grow and to build their own business and to enter that top 1% on their own, or even the top 10% of income makers, that is what allows a society to function. People who want to try to get to that top percentage can get there with hard work. I have met these entrepreneurs. They are cool people. They like providing services for those who need it. Realistically, they should grow, the ones I know, but there's also, like, they do HVAC, so there's also already competition locally, and then there's competition elsewhere if they try to move in. So that's just, they're stuck with what they have. They need to either make a better business model or just stick with where they're at and keep a good customer base that they can constantly recall. And that's kind of what a lot of bigger businesses do eventually. They just keep a big customer base, so they always make money. Like Apple or Microsoft or whatever. They build a brand. And that's the alternative to just constantly growing. Anyways, a lot of small businesses aren't going to be able to function because they aren't considered essential. For example, you ever go to a vape shop? In Indiana, a lot of places just stayed open and just said, well, we'd rather ask for forgiveness than ask permission. And that's the way you kind of have to handle this thing. But a lot of places actually shut down. There was a local restaurant literally right down the road from where I lived in Columbus. Like, I moved around in Columbus a lot. But beside the point, recently, when the pandemic hit and everyone shut down, a lot of small restaurants just died. They couldn't open back up. A few of them tried to stay open and just sell their stuff like over the phone, and you can come pick it up and whatnot and take it back, but they all died. And it is super disappointing. Oh, lightning's going to go down because the sun's going down. Yeah, well, tough luck. Anyways, yeah, you can see some trees and stuff. I'm in the backyard. I was sent out to watch a fire because we're burning trash. Yep, you can see the smoke. Anyways, a lot of small businesses are just going to die. Restaurants can't provide money for their servers. People just have to leave the restaurant because, like, waitresses just have to leave to make money elsewhere. On the flip side, a lot of high turnover businesses that aren't small or just high turnover period are just going to get a whole bunch of people that don't want to do those jobs. So those businesses are also going to fail. My mom works for a home healthcare agency. I'm not giving the name, obviously, but her business was already high turnover, and it just got even higher because they just got an influx of women that just did not really want to do the job. So she ends up working 40 hours a week outside of scheduling. She works in the office, but she has to go in and put in another full-time job. And I keep telling her, demand pay for that stuff because she was salaried. Demand pay for that stuff now, or threaten to quit, and then they lose the scheduler and the 40 hours. And she should. Yes, it sounds cold and manipulative, but they're manipulating her by paying her well below what she's supposed to be making. Like other caregivers that don't work on salary bring in more and work less hours. It's disappointing. But beside the point, there are businesses that are dying, and when everyone is still under lockdown, those people in those lockdown states cannot grow. So there becomes, first of all those people that wanted to try to grow are now feeling very depressed because they can't. All those people with aspirations just cannot. And you might say, well, while this is going on, they need to go get an essential job. Those are all full. Or they are poorly managed and no one wants to stay. Like, seriously, I tried to go out and get an essential job because they were hiring like crazy because they just they got rid of half their staff. For a good reason. Because the management was bad and they need to refill people who just didn't want to work with them anymore. And guess what? I decided I did not want to work with this management. I did not want to work in this industry. And this is like video 3, and I'm probably going to sit out here and do at least another video. I'm going to do back-to-back recording. But anyways, this lockdown is killing businesses. It's killing the economy. And because we're printing all this money, it's a complete sham, by the way. This is just another video on top of it all, because I want to talk about inflation. It's going to happen, and it is happening already. But beside the point, we are killing our economy, and then we're leaving, like the government is leaving us to hold the bag. So, and then the worst part about it is all these I'm going to say blue states, democratic states that are failing economically and are under massive amounts of debt. Their government is, like the government systems. So California, there's a few others, but California is the big one that stands out. We're holding their bags too because they are under poor management. We're shooting our country in the foot and then expecting it to run a mile like it used to. And that's not happening, so we're falling. Yeah, feel free to give feedback. Thank you for your time. But yeah, basically, to sum it up, we are going to enter. Okay, this is the big takeaway. So to build on top of things, so I'll count. 1, we are going to hyperinflate because we are printing money. 2, we are going to hyperinflate our food. So actually, I'll just do it like this. 2, darn it, there. 2, we are going to hyperinflate our food because 1, we are printing money, and 2, our supply chain is being disrupted. 3, our land is going to be hyperinflated because 1, we're printing money. 2, our cost of living is going up. 3, that means our land has to go up. 4, we don't have the means to make that money because of 1, 2, and 3, we are being economically oppressed, so we cannot make that money to go and buy houses and stuff, so we can't grow. So these lockdowns are literally snuffing out America. And then some of the side effects that I noticed were going on beforehand, our lockdowns are killing other nations too. So all of our food, we ship a lot of it overseas to developing countries in Africa, in the Middle East. We ship a lot of our food out. So not only are our farmers having to throw away food because the supply chain won't take enough of it and sell it, but now these countries are having people die because of starvation because we aren't being able to ship out our food. So it's bad for the whole world that even our country is dying like this. This is why we shouldn't be in a super globalist economic structure. And we put ourselves here. Like, the whole world runs on the American dollar. And it's a bad thing. Because now we are collapsing, and the rest of the world is going to also. Yeah, I went way over what I was wanting to do. That was basically a little rant about why it's just bad that we are going through these lockdowns. I am proud of Texas for, the reason why I wanted to talk about this first was because Texas has decided to completely end lockdowns, and that's beautiful. And I love it, and they are going to grow like crazy because everyone else is dying and everyone else needs food, and they are just going to farm and produce in mass, and their economy is just going to grow like crazy because they're the first ones to get out of this. Thank you very much for listening to this little rant. Feel free to comment. I will read them. I want to read them. I want my channel to grow. If you really want to support me, get my channel out there, get my opinions out there. Just share my videos. This is literally just like facts. Some of it's like it's heavily opinionated facts. Like because of this, these things happened in succession. And this is bad. And I'm just saying it's bad. But at the same time, I have my own opinions built in there. So yes, we are starving ourselves, and we're starving the rest of the world because of it. Thank you. That's just one last thing. I will see you guys around the next episode. Bye.